Hey everyone, okay, I'm here with our next installation of the evaporation experiment. So before we measure the water this week, I wanted to review our graph from last week. Okay, so here we have our evaporation experiment, and the covered container is in pink, and the water in the uncovered container is in green. So thank you to everybody who solved those math questions. You did a great job. At the end of last week, in our covered container, we had about 240 milliliters of water, and our uncovered container right over here, we only had 50 milliliters of water left. Now, some of you guessed the water would be all gone in the uncovered container this week, and some of you thought that there'd be just a little bit left. So it's time to check the result. Here's our covered container and our uncovered container. And guess what? Boom! It's all gone. There's no water left. It's all evaporated. There is 0 milliliters of water in our uncovered container. But we're still going to measure how much water is in the covered container to get our final results. I'm going to take this off. Now remember, there was 240 milliliters last week, so we will see if there is the same amount or if it's a little bit different this week. All right, I'm going to pour it all into my measuring cup. And I'll pour the first 100 milliliters. So there's 100 milliliters. There's 200 milliliters. And let's see how much is left. Oh, you know what? It's exactly the same. There's still 40 milliliters left. So if we wanted to add that up, we have 100 milliliters plus 100 milliliters plus 40 milliliters. So if I was going to add that all up, I would know that 100 milliliters plus 100 milliliters is 200 milliliters. And I'm going to add 40 there. So it's going to be 240 milliliters. Awesome. Okay, so I am going to add this information to our graph, and I'll be right back. I'm back. So I added that information to our graph, and you can now see that today is May 6th, and on May 6th there was still 240 milliliters of water in our covered container and no water in our uncovered container. So I'm going to hold this up so that you can see it, because for this week, for our evaporation experiment the job that I would like you to do is answer the question that we asked at the beginning of our experiment. So at the beginning of our experiment, we asked, does water evaporate inside? This was a question that some students in our class had when we were doing our KWL chart before March break. And so we can answer that question based on the results of our experiment. So I would like you to tell me to answer that question, okay? I would like you to answer that question. Does water evaporate inside? And I'd like you to tell me how we can tell that by looking at our graph, okay? Our graph of the covered and uncovered containers. All right, so I'm looking forward to, as always, to seeing your good work. And this is the last week of the evaporation experiment. It's all over because we finally got our results. See you soon.